Now for global business updates, Rotus Oddiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. Good morning, Rufai Ayo. Good morning to all our viewers out there. We kick off with gold, one of Dr. Abati's favorite topics. It's one of his favorite commodities he's always talking about. New high, 2,886 in early trading this morning. Yeah, 2008. Yeah, I nailed it. 2,886 and 20 cents per ounce. Silver down, copper up, platinum down. Asian markets. China returned from their lunar holiday. Was down 67 basis points. As we speak, I think the Ministry of Finances, they are actually giving a press conference right now about the tariffs live as we speak. Kospi up, Hang Seng down, the Nikkei 225 up. One of the big news coming out of Asia is that Nissan and Honda, the deal may not be going through. Nissan apparently is going to suspend the merger talks. This is according to Nikkei Asia. They said the board met earlier today and voted no because one of the issues was the valuation under that holdco structure. Nissan was not, basically the valuation was small, smaller than what they were thinking. Everybody thinks they're valued more than they are. They also balked at a subsidiary position. They suggested that Honda wanted them to be a subsidiary because look, who's benefiting from this? It's really Honda because Nissan is just in trouble. Job cuts, profitability issues. Honda's shares were up about 8% in trading this morning. Nissan heading down about 5%. My real estate folks out there, is Gaza a real estate destination? We said we should ask that question. Is it a war zone or a real estate investment? No need to play the clips again. Adefemi has already played them. But a really incredibly insensitive, callous statement that Trump, the Ministry of Finance from Saudi Arabia actually responded early this morning. We managed to grab their quote. The kingdom unequivocally rejects any infringement on the legitimate rights of the Palestinian people, whether through Israeli settlement policies, land annexation, or attempts to displace the Palestinian people from their land. This is the same Saudi Arabia that is supposed to be making a $600 or $500 billion investment. Very bold of them to come out and say that they're rejecting the suggestion from Trump. Look, you have to read between the lines of what this man is saying when he said, the President Trump is saying, when he talks about turning it into a Riviera and a lovely real estate place. Let's go back to 2024, March. I know everybody remembers Jared Kushner, his son-in-law, who is also the founder of Kushner LLC, which is a real estate company. This actually made its way back to social media after Trump's comments to me because they mirror each other. Listen to Kushner.
And so my sense is I would say, how do we deal with the terror threat that is there so that it cannot be a threat to Israel or to Egypt, right? I think that both sides are spending a fortune on military. I think neither side really wants to have, a terrorist organization enclaved right between them. I mean, Gaza's waterfront property, it could be very valuable to, if people would focus on kind of building up, livelihoods. You think about all the money that's gone into this tunnel network and into all the munitions. If that would have gone into education or innovation, what could have been done? And so I think that it's a little bit of an unfortunate situation there. But I think from Israel's perspective, I would do my best to move the people out and then clean it up. But I don't think that Israel has stated that they don't want the people to move back there afterward.
And people are noticing, before this started trending, I want you to listen to Aisha Mills, a social impact advisor, who just absolutely nailed this when she was making comments about Gaza.
What I think some of us are concerned about and hearing, in between the lines of the way that Trump is posturing this conversation and things that Jared Kushner said, a while back about that area is that, maybe this is not so much about diplomacy and people, but about real estate. And so what becomes of the Gaza Strip when Jared Kushner says, oh, this is waterfront property that could be really valuable at some point in time. And Donald Trump says today, well, we should just relocate all the Palestinian people and make Egypt take them and send them here and send them there. And we'll build them nice houses. It'll look good. It'll be a pretty neighborhood. But essentially confirming in a roundabout way that a priority is not making sure that they come back home because implied by his son-in-law that real estate is quite valuable there on the water and could be beachfront property. I think that, for me, I'm very concerned about what this administration administration means when they say diplomacy, or that they're listening, or that they're going to stop wars and engage other leaders, because at the forefront of it all and the background of it all seems to be some kind of profiteering scheme for Trump and his family. So I don't want us to miss the fact that often there's a looky-loo that we should be paying attention to as well.
People aren't joking when they say that Donald Trump is possibly one of the most transactional presidents the world has ever seen. I don't know if everyone heard that he signed an executive order to set up a sovereign wealth fund for the United States. One of the first things that he mentioned about that sovereign wealth fund was that it was going to buy TikTok, which is really interesting because sovereign wealth funds, you're supposed to take, if you have a budget surplus, you're supposed to put that money and invest it in securities around the world. And then the return is supposed to be used for infrastructure and so on. But the first thing he says is that it's supposed to buy TikTok. You don't buy TikTok, you're supposed to invest, right? And another thing is this, the United States is the destination for the highest amount of capital flows around the world because the US has a deep liquid market. The sovereign wealth fund in Saudi Arabia, the sovereign wealth fund in Norway, sovereign wealth fund in Nigeria. All these funds have a decent portion of their portfolios in U.S. equity, in U.S. markets. So where exactly is a sovereign wealth fund that is domiciled in the United States going to invest? There have been no details on what the portfolio mix will look like and what they will be investing in. So again, just remember that one of the biggest backers of the Trump campaign is invested in TikTok, and for him to wade into this and now suggest off the top that this is what he'll be buying, it tells you everything. To round off with Nigeria, there is a bond that is supposed to be floated that was approved at the Federal Executive Council in order to invest to pay off a pension backlog. Wale Edu, Minister of Finance in Abuja, saying equally important than addressing the issue of social interventions is one regarding pensions. There was an approval for the government through the Debt Management Office to raise a federal government bond of about $758 billion. Finally, aid, health, right? If the Trump administration wants to take away aid, you talked about South Africa earlier on this morning and how he wants to take away aid. These are the top 10 nations in Africa that received U.S. aid for health in fiscal year 2023. At the top is Tanzania, virtually tied with Nigeria at 512 million each. You can see Malawi at 239 million. There will be ramifications for the U.S. pulling aid, particularly for HIV and all these other things for the African continent, if those funds don't flow through.
Well, unfortunately, we've run out of time. Nissan and Honda, truly unfortunate. Yeah. Otherwise, coming together, they will have become the third largest automaker. President Trump says he's not in a hurry to talk to Xi Jinping again.
All of a sudden.
So the fight continues. Anyway, thank you very much for joining.
Thank you.